The season is winding down in Toronto. The Blue Jays will take on the Tampa Bay Rays. The East is heating up. The Yankees lost last night to the Texas Rangers. Mariano Rivera blew the game and was charged with the loss while the Rays were pummeling the Blue Jays. Tampa Bay now just a half a game behind the New York Yankees. Hello, everybody. I'm Buck Martinez along with Pat Tabler. And, Pat, over the course of the first two games of this series against Tampa Bay, we have witnessed firsthand just why Evan Longoria should be in that MVP conversation.
With everything that he has done in the game of baseball, you have to remember he's just 24 years old in his second major league season. He's got power, he's got production, and he's a great fielder. We all know about the 30 home run type of power. He's also won a Gold Glove already. The third youngest third baseman in history to win one. Brooks Robinson, Scott Rowland, Eric Chavez, the only younger players to have won a Gold Glove. You also throw in he's got some speed too. How about a career high 15 stolen bases already this year? There's nothing on the baseball field that Evan Longoria can't do.
Plus, he's a leader. He's the kind of guy that can get in the teammate's face and push him a little harder. Just exactly what Joe Madden wants from Evan Longoria. The Blue Jays starters have gone through a rough patch here. Tampa Bay and Texas both have beaten up on them lately. And for more on that, let's check in with Sam Cosentino, who's standing by with the pitching coach, Bruce Walton.
Bruce, pretty uncharacteristic what we've seen the last couple of days. What have you noticed differently about your pitchers?
Well, first of all, with Cecil, he was pretty strong. He's just up in the zone. He was up pretty much the whole 2.5 innings he was in the game, and just got hit and never got the ball back down. I thought in the second inning we started mixing it up a little better, but then he came out and he just wasn't very good. Ricky was pretty good, and then, he kind of got in a jam and couldn't get out of it. The grand slam kind of just put, icing on the cake out there, and he threw a lot of pitches in that inning. I mean, he was up to 35, 36 pitches, and we decided he probably had enough and didn't send him back out.
It's been a great year for the starting staff. There's 3 weeks left in the season. How important is it for you to get those guys to finish on a high note, to take that with them into the offseason?
Oh, I mean, it's important to finish on a high note. It's important to finish strong and just finish the whole thing off, I mean, I think we're fortunate on one sense is that this is the first time it's happened in a long time, maybe all year. So, back-to-back, a little surprising, but it happens. It's baseball, and I think we're going to put it all back together and finish strong.
The Blue Jays have homered in 13 straight games. Jose Bautista all year long has led the way. He is 1 home run shy of tying George Bell for the franchise home run record. Bautista and the Blue Jays take on the Rays.
On Rogers Sportsnet, brought to you by your local independently owned home hardware or home hardware building center. Homeowners helping homeowners.
Tampa Bay, the final time these two ball clubs will meet this year. Tampa Bay takes on the Blue Jays. Tampa Bay with a 7-10 advantage over Toronto this year. Joe Maddon's lineup has compiled 22 runs on 19 hits in the first two games of this series. Upton, Bartlett, Rodriguez. Sean Rodriguez moves up to the third spot in the lineup tonight because he's got good numbers against Sean Markham. But this truly is a versatile lineup that Joe Maddon can manipulate just about any way he wants to.
Another thing that you can look in there, look at all the right-handed batters, and we'll watch the switch hitters. In the past, they have hit right-handed against Markham. Joe Maddon looks at the splits, the left-handed versus right-handed versus Sean Markham. He has one left-hander in that lineup today. That's Brad Hoff hitting 8th. Sean Markham will take the mound for the 28th time this season in search of a career-high 13th win, 12-7 with a 355 earned run average. It really has been a very good year, I think, for Sean Markham. When spring training started, who knew what was going to come out of Markham this year, but I think he has been outstanding. He's got a great walk-to-strikeout ratio, just 39 walks, 145 strikeouts. He has had his problems against the Rays this season, 0-2 with an ERA approaching 6 in his 3 starts versus the Tampa Bay Rays. But for the most part, Sean Markham's had a great year.
The problem, his numbers are so ugly against Tampa Bay. He went up 3 times against David Price. He'll be happy today that Price is not starting. So Markham set to take on Tampa Bay. B.J. Upton, the leadoff batter. Tampa Bay, as we mentioned, have been swinging the hot bats of late. Scored 13 runs on 10 hits in yesterday's game and hit 2 home runs. And Upton's been right in the middle of it. 8 games, 9 for 28 with 4 homers. What's Joe Maddon's thinking to stack so many right-handers in there? You mentioned how effective he has been in the past.
Markham is a righty who throws like a lefty. He's got a great changeup, and I think he wants to neutralize that changeup from Markham. The splits against him, lefties hitting just 187, righties over 300 against Markham. Take that changeup away. I think the problem, there it is right there, is Markham's not afraid to throw it to right-handers.
I think the first 2 times he faced him in back-to-back starts, that came in the first week of June. It really caught him off guard. And I think he stopped throwing that changeup, but now he's back to throwing it very effectively. Missed with the inside fastball, 2-2.
Well, one thing I think we have noticed for Markham, at least his last 5 times out, is he's using all of his pitches again. Setting it up with his fastball, using his curveball and his cutter, and of course the changeup.
Came back inside with the fastball, full count. See the numbers, dramatic difference between left-handers and right-handers in the batting average against Markham.
16 home runs allowed to right-handers. It's hard to believe.
3-2 pitch is popped in the air. Right side of the diamond, Lyle Overbay wandering into foul territory, 1 out.
Today's scouting report is brought to you by TD Bank. Bank can be this comfortable. Sean Markham is a street stopper. 8 wins after a Blue Jays loss this year. 3 is the magic number for Markham. He's allowed 3 runs or more in only 6 of his 27 starts this year. And there's the left-handed splits. Batters have been left out, a 187 average. They've also had a slugging percentage of just 284 against Markham from the left side. Pretty impressive stuff.
Jason Bartlett, the shortstop, takes a pitch outside. Bartlett had a triple in yesterday's game. Hit it to the gap in right center and drove in a run in the 8th inning. Just a little insurance run. Deep drive to left field. Snyder back on the track, makes the catch. 1 stride short of the wall. Travis Snyder hauled it in.
Whole key to that play right there for Travis Snyder is he got a great jump on the ball. Never took his eyes off the ball. Knew right where that warning track was. That's some home field advantage right there. Know your ballpark. Never took his eyes off the ball. Makes a fine play against the wall.
Much more comfortable in left field than he is in right field. Just looks much more at ease out in left. Sean Rodriguez batting third this afternoon. Good numbers against the Jays all season long. Fastball is fouled into the glove of John Buck. Joe Maddon's one of those managers that doesn't worry about how a player is going to react if he hits in a different spot in the lineup. He juggles the lineup all the time.
He certainly does. We saw Rodriguez at the bottom of the lineup. We've seen Carl Crawford move up and down the lineup also. He'll also try and bunch hot hitters. He'll look at the number charts, the spray charts, and try and bunch those hitters together so when those guys come up, people like a Carl Crawford who was off today, they're going to come up with runners on base.
Rodriguez batting third for the first time this season. He's behind Sean Markham. A ball and 2 strikes. 2 outs here in the first. Got him. There's that changeup to the right-hander and a wicked one. Sean Markham breezes through the first half inning with the strikeout. Great changeup to Rodriguez. Of this series. Lost a tough one in the opener, 9-8 in the 9th inning. Dwayne Wise back at the top of the order, but Junel Escobar has been the hot hitter this series. He's starting to go to right field a little more consistently, starting to use the whole field. And we can see the potential of being a line-to-line drive hitter. Right field, left field, all over the ballpark. He's really starting to swing the bat with confidence.
Yeah, you're right. Starting to hit the ball all over the place. Before this series started, he had 5 hits to right field all season long. He's got 3 already in the first 2 games here. He will be matched up against Jeff Neiman, the big right-hander for the Tampa Bay Rays, a lot like the other starters. Young, just 27 years old. Jeff Neiman spent 3 weeks on the disabled list, missed 20 games with a right shoulder strain, and is now just trying to work his way back into the form that he had before he went on to DL.
Dwayne Wise bounces it behind second. Bartlett quickly into first base to get Wise. Jeff Neiman making his 4th start since coming off the disabled list. Before he was injured, boy, he was dominant, but it's been a different story since.
Look at that earned run average before at 10-3 record. After that, he just has not been able to command his fastball. He says the injury has passed him. He still feels very strong. They also felt like there was a mechanical flaw in his delivery, that he was pulling his fastball across his body and missing with his fastball. And he's the kind of guy who needs to pitch off of that fastball.
6'9", a lot of moving parts to his delivery, and it takes a few repetitions to get him back in the groove. Junel Escobar looks at a first pitch strike. Hitting nearly 300 since he's come to the Blue Jays. good sinking fastball there, and Escobar is in a hole.
Got to stay on top of the ball to get that downward movement. Escobar looking like he was trying to go yard on that pitch.
Hard breaking ball down and away for a ball. Last time the Blue Jays saw Neiman, he breezed through the first 5 innings and then couldn't get out of the 6th. First 6 batters reached against Neiman and knocked him right out of the game. Fouled off Navarro's shin guard.
That was his 2nd start since coming off the disabled list. And there are his career numbers in 7 starts versus the Blue Jays. He has had some success against them. 2-hit shutout back on June the 8th was one of the games he had this year. And he's had some rough ones also.
Good curveball, strike 3. Good start for Jeff Neiman.
If you're Joe Madden, you like what you see so far from your big right-hander. Let's take a look at the scouting report for Jeff Neiman. Fastball command has always been the key for him. If he can get that fastball over the curve, will be set up, and he's got a very good one. If he can get that over, he's going to be double tough. Throw downhill. He's 6'9". You mentioned that, Buck, and he really creates a great downward plane torque on that ball when he is coming and staying on top of it. Pitch sequence to Escobar was very indicative of that.
Good moving fastball, a tight slider, and then the hook for strike 3. Bautista wanted to look at a pitch. There's the slider for a strike. 12 homers and 25 driven in over his last 31 games. It's underneath it and pops it behind first. Brad Hopp is there, and Neiman has a very quick first inning. Evan Longoria will start things off. MVP candidate for sure. American League this year, Miguel Cabrera of the Tigers, Josh Hamilton of the Rangers, Robbie Cano of the Yankees, and Evan Longoria. And when you break them down, each one of them certainly has had an impact on their team's success this year.
Texas is in first place. New York is in first place. Tampa right there leads the wild card. Absolutely. Each one of them, they hit in the middle of the lineup. They come up with big base hits. Great averages all the way around. Longoria really starting to put the pedal to the metal here the last couple of weeks and put his name amongst the MVP candidates this year.
98 RBI for Longoria. First pitch from Markham is down and away. 294, 21, and 98 against the Blue Jays. A 371 average this season.
When we say he's starting to make a move his last 26 games, you're starting to see the offense really uptick for him. 337 average in production. 9 doubles, triples, 6 homers, and 26 RBIs. And you got to bet that a lot of those are big runs driven in.
3-0. There's another candidate also people aren't talking an awful lot about, but Joe Maddon has recognized his abilities, and that's the Blue Jays' third baseman, Jose Bautista. High strike.
I posed a question to you before the game today. If he gets to 50 home runs, has there ever been a guy not win the MVP? And I didn't really go back and think, but I guess Mickey Mantle in '61 hit 50 home runs and did not win the most valuable player for the Yankees. But that would be a tough choice. A guy hits 50 and doesn't win.
I would think it hasn't happened very often. But Bautista certainly well within striking distance of 50. He is 3 RBI behind Miguel Cabrera. He is 5 runs shy of scoring 100. And he's third in total bases. He's got to be in the conversation as well. 3-2 to Longoria. Leadoff walk. One thing that caused the Blue Jays problems in both of these first 2 games of this series, the base on balls. In the 6-run 4th inning in yesterday's game, Tampa Bay scored 6 runs on 2 hits against Ricky Romero. One of those 2 hits, the grand slam to Brad Hott.
That's a stat about the Tampa Bay Rays that gets overlooked offensively. Everybody talks about their steals and how they lead the major leagues in the stolen base, and they go first to third, and they've got home run power. They also lead the major leagues in base on balls. And it has certainly played a big part in this series so far.
Rocco Baldelli is the DH. Baldelli was the DH on Friday night. Had a 2-run double in that 6-run first inning. I sat down on the bench with Brett Cecil this morning, and he didn't have that look. I hope it wasn't something I said.
Yeah. Don't take it personal. What is that look, by the way? What do you call that?
It's the old mohawk. Baldelli goes down, chases the changeup, and Markham has shown already he's going to throw the right-handers that changeup today.
Not afraid to throw it, show it, whatever you want to say to the right-handers. Great arm action and good movement on it. John Buck had to stay down, let that ball get to him as Baldelli waves at it for the strikeout. I know that's a mohawk, but is that like a Sunday football season starting kind of thing? You know, let's get into the mood.
I don't know. You're asking me to try to figure out where they're coming from? One out, Ben Zobrist. Had a good series. A couple of doubles in yesterday's game. He drove into and scored 2. Had a home run on Friday night. Big series, 3 for 6 with 4 driven in. Zobrist starting to heat up at the right time for Tampa Bay.
Had a great year last year for the Rays. Career high numbers in everything. Home runs, RBIs. Got off to a slow start this year. Gamer, though. Play different positions, do different things for you. There's one guy that Joe Maddon mentioned is really starting to swing it.
Well, it's interesting, too, because he is so versatile. You can keep Zobrist in the lineup at different spots and not risk taking somebody else out that's going to suffer without the at-bats.
When you see guys play multiple positions like that, sometimes you wonder, can they help me in the 9th inning? They're not going to cost me a game because of their errors or their lack of production defensively. You can't say that about a lot of these players on the Tampa Bay Rays. That's the one thing that you better be able to do if you're going to play on this team, is catch the ball.
Defense is a premium for Tampa Bay. They have good starting pitching and good defense. That'll keep you in the game. I don't care if you get any hits at all.
Smart. They're smart players, too. They very rarely beat themselves. Built a lot like the Minnesota Twins, who don't beat themselves.
3-1 to Zobrist. Boy, that's a good analogy right there. That comparison is right on the money. The Twins play baseball. And you say, well, who had a great year? Well, nobody had a great year. But they're going to the postseason.
Then you start looking up into the stats and who is second in the American League in fielding. It's the Minnesota Twins.
There goes Longoria. It's a ball low. Back-to-back walks here. Excuse me. A one-out walk after the leadoff walk. Last 4 games, 2 against the Rangers, 2 against Tampa Bay. They have had a tough run. The starters, bullpen, saved them the other night, but eventually cost them the game as well.
And Bruce Walton was talking about that before the game, that the base on balls were throwing way too many pitches in these at-bats. We need to be a little bit more aggressive, throw strikes, and take our chances. That is something that the starters and really the whole staff has done for the most part all season long. They have been very aggressive. And, hey, if you get beat, you get beat.
Leonard Navarro batting right-handed. Navarro is a switch hitter. Batting right-handed against Markham. Cross-up. John Buck tapped his chest protector as if to say that was my fault. But he looked like he expected a fastball and got a breaking ball.
Yeah,
again, pointing to his chest protector. I forgot what I called.
Looking for the ball inside. He did a good job of recovering and making a nice play there.
A ball and a strike to Leonard Navarro. Went too far. A ball and 2 strikes.
We're going to get to a point here, I think, with the Tampa Bay Rays where they're just sitting on the changeup against Sean Markham, and they'll try and adjust after that. So far, the first 2 innings here, he's had some of these hitters way out in front, like they're expecting something else.
Markham ahead. Another changeup, just barely got a piece of it.
That one was the cut changeup, if you will, that he'll use against right-handers. He has a way of gripping the baseball and throwing it, that changeup, and the ball will move away from the right-handers. The one he threw to Rodriguez to end the first inning was the straight change. It went straight down. 75 miles an hour. The one that cuts away is a little bit faster, 5 or 6 miles per hour faster than that one.
A ball and 2 strikes. 2 on, 1 out. Popped in the air behind shortstop. Escobar makes the catch. 2 outs.
First baseman, number 11, Brad Hunt.
Buck and Markham going to have a little quick visit here as Brad Hopp will step in. Hopp had the big grand slam in yesterday's game. That came in the 4th inning.
High fastball, and he doesn't miss it. He's had a career where he has had good years, good home run years when he was with the Colorado Rockies. Joe Madden says he just liked the matchup against Ricky Romero, and he came out looking pretty good as Hopp hit a grand slam.
Hopp is the only left-handed batter in the lineup. Markham is holding left-handed hitters to a sub-200 batting average. Markham thought that should have been a strike. Fastball right at the knees. Longoria at second, Zobrist at first. They both walked. Well, he's got great arm action on that changeup, and that's what causes the hitter to swing.
You better see the ball before you try and hit it because of that great arm speed that he has on those pitches. 1-0 count. Hop was looking for a fastball. He came unglued on it. He crossed him up with a nice changeup.
Good breaking ball in there, and it's something John Buck has utilized more frequently in the second half of the season.
He's got a good one. He's got so many options when he is out on that mound. The curveball and the cutter and the slider, a little bit of everything. John Buck does a good job of thinking his pitcher through at bats.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Hop checked in time. 2-2. You would think there would be a time when you can run that fastball upstairs to Brad Hop, but that's the pitch he hit out of the ballpark yesterday.
The one that was up and away to him.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Sean Markham puts up his 3rd strikeout. Brad Hop waved at the changeup. You know it's coming. You can't lay off.
Aquos products, including a new HD Quadtron TV and Blu-ray player. Enter online at hitahomerunwithsharp.ca. Sharp Aquos with Quadtron technology. You have to see it to see it.
Vernon Wells will start off the second. Jeff Neiman had a 1-2-3 first inning. Up and in with the fastball. Command is an issue we're going to watch all day long with Jeff Neiman. We talked about Joe Madden kind of evaluating how he's going to set up his postseason rotation. I mean, he's not publicly assuming that they're in the postseason, but obviously at this point of the season you have to start thinking about it.
You're right. He'd never say anything about that. He had a closed-door meeting yesterday with James Shields as they went about what they want to do with him. They feel like Shields is not pitching up to his ability right now. Out of the three, if you assume that Price and Garza are sure things, James Shields has been there before. You got to figure that with his numbers that he has had in the postseason, he's been there before. He's your number 3. It comes down to Neiman or Wade Davis. And Wade Davis is out pitching Jeff Neiman right now.
David Price will go tomorrow night when the Rays take on the Yankees. Matt Garza will follow him in the rotation. Blue Jays didn't see either one of these guys. And they're happy they haven't seen Price.
They've seen him enough, haven't they?
Tough on him. One on for Lyle Overbay. There's a strike. David Price has had a phenomenal season, and Blue Jays have contributed to that. 4-0 with a minuscule ERA at .58.
He has the ability to just reach back at times and say, okay, I'm going to throw the fastball right by you, slide or whatever it takes. True number 1. Guy who can match up with the CC Sabathias and the Josh Beckett's and the John Lesters in the American League East.
And the Rays were in the 2008 postseason. Price was working out of the bullpen. He actually had a win and a save in the postseason before he had a win or a save in the regular season. 0-2 to Overbay. Another changeup, back-to-back changeups, and Neiman strikes out Overbay. Now, after a 4-pitch walk, Neiman bounces back.
Split that grip a little bit. That's what will create that downward movement. Lyle Overbay way out in front of it. Neiman picks up his second strikeout of the afternoon.
Wells at first. Aaron Hill had 5 home runs against Tampa Bay this season. He's the club leader in homers against the Rays. Well, it's just 5 for 8 in steals. But Neiman has proven to the Blue Jays in the past he could be a tough customer. So it might not be a bad idea. Neiman's keeping a close eye on him. Neiman has had only 1 base runner caught this season while he's on the mound. 18 have stolen against him.
You can see why, because he has got the high leg kick. Again, he's 6'9". It takes him a little bit longer to get that ball to the plate. Wells is actually leading back towards first base against big Jeff Neiman.
Second inning, 1 out. Neiman walked Wells to start the inning. Ball on the strike. Last time the Blue Jays faced Neiman, he breezed through 5 innings. Allowed just 2 hits in the first 5 innings. One of those was a solo home run by John McDonald. And then in the 6th, he couldn't retire a batter. He faced 6 Blue Jays. They all reached, and he was out of the game.
When he is pitching well, he's pitching at a little bit quicker pace than what we have seen so far in this ball game. Gets the ball, works quickly, throws lots of strikes, really pounds the strike zone with his fastball, and then finishes them off with a curveball. Today, look how he takes his time, walks around the mound, looks around at the infield. That's not the pace that he needs to be successful.
Very deliberate, very measured. excuse me, check swing, pop foul. That's a great point. You can certainly see that Neiman's trying to think his way to throwing good pitches instead of trusting his stuff right now. This is only the fourth start he's made since coming off the disabled list.
His pitching coach, Jim Hickey, made a statement after Monday when he threw on the side. He says, I honestly believe it's more about what he's thinking than what he is throwing. And as you watch him now today, I say the same thing. When he is going well, he's getting the ball. He's not thinking, he's just pounding with that good fastball.
Aaron Hill fouls it back into the glove of the catcher. Third strikeout for Neiman. When you think about the Rays pitching, you think about quality pitches. They all have the quality pitches. That was a mistake that Hill just foul chipped into the glove. But they also work very quickly. Price works quickly. Garza works quickly. Shields works quickly. They keep the pressure on it. Wade Davis yesterday worked very quickly, up tempo.
Got the ball, used the fastball, pitched off of the fastball. Pound the strike zone. And then use all of your pitches. It's like a hitter who just steps out all the time and he's thinking too many thoughts up there. You become paralyzed. Your natural ability doesn't come through.
Ball on the strike to Adam Lynn. Lynn's had a good run against Tampa Bay this season. Driven in 13 in the 17 games played. Well, he's using the off-speed pitches very effectively. But I'm with you. I'm all about speeding things up. You can see he sets that split changeup in his hand behind his back to reduce the movement when he goes to his other pitches. Breaking ball bounced and Wells will move up. So Wells finally gets into scoring position. Neiman was worried about this and bounced the curveball off tomorrow.
That'll go as a wild pitch. When you are the runner over at first base, you can see the height of the ball, the flight of the ball. And when you take that secondary lead, anything that's going in the dirt, just take off. Especially a guy who's got the good speed like Vernon Wells, you can make it without a throw. That time easily gets himself in a scoring position.
2-2 to Lynn. Another ball off the glove, and Wells had enough room to go, but he couldn't find the baseball. If you have any doubts, once you're in scoring position, you've got to hold at second.
Navarro looked like he was uncertain if that ball was going to hit the dirt or not. It did. He blocked it. Didn't get that far, but Vernon Wells doesn't try and chance it.
Full count to Lynn. Wells at second, 2 outs. Hammered to right field. Zobrist is right there and makes the catch. Jeff Neiman strands a base runner. He haven't had a hit yet in this game.
Walton were in the Blue Jays clubhouse in Cito's office till about 7 o'clock last night, trying to get things figured out so as to keep the integrity as far as the matchups are concerned against teams still eligible for the playoffs.
So that's good news for the Blue Jays organization. Certainly good news for Kyle Drabek. We will see him tomorrow in Baltimore for a side session, and then he'll start on Wednesday. He's had a great season, 162 innings pitched in Double-A. Last year in the Phillies organization, he threw 157 and 2 stops, and he was the Phillies minor league pitcher of the year. And he's progressed very well, and I applaud the Blue Jays for their handling of Drabek, keeping him Double-A all year long through the end of the season and into the playoffs.
And he was the pitcher of the year in the Eastern League also. So he had a great season there. The team just got eliminated from the playoffs, so the thought was he was going to throw another game in the playoffs, so why not bring him up to the big leagues and stretch these starters out?
Well, by going to a 6-man rotation, they have pushed guys back, and obviously this year they want to make sure they don't abuse anybody. They've already shut down Brandon Morrow for the season. So using 6 men, and the one thing Cito's guarded against is the integrity, as you mentioned. Upton hits a fly ball to center, carries well, and takes Brennan Wells right onto the warning track. I said Upton, of course. That's Desmond Jennings, the number 9 hitter.
Picked up his first big league hit yesterday. Got a lot of talent.
And he does things easily. We saw him in the outfield yesterday, and boy, he can cover some ground. So 1 out now. It's top of the order. B.J. Upton popped up to first base in the first. Tampa Bay a half game behind the Yankees at the start of play today. Blue Jays got the Rangers hot. Rangers won the final 2 games of the 4-game series here, and they've won the first 2 games of the Yankees series back home.
Vladdy Guerrero was raking there. He was joined then by Nelson Cruz, who started getting hot the last 2 days here, and he's kept it up down at Arlington.
Another fly ball to center field. This one's hit deep, high and deep to center. Wells on the warning track, almost in the same spot Jennings hit his ball. 2 outs.
That ball a little bit higher by B.J. Upton to dead center field off Sean Markham. Jennings was a line drive. That one was floated out there deep. Vernon Wells over the shoulder catch like a wide receiver.
Edwin Encarnacion has rejoined the Blue Jays after his rehab assignment to Double-A New Hampshire. Playoffs have ended, so he is back here with the Jays.
I believe he is eligible to come off the disabled list tomorrow in Baltimore. So some more options for Cito Gaston if he wants to get another bat in the lineup.
Jason Bartlett fouls it off, 0-2 count. Curveball taken downstairs. We mentioned the Rangers and the Yankees series. I think today's start for Texas is the most important start of the season. Cliff Lee coming back after missing a start, going against the Yankees. On the ground to Escobar. Big 2 hopper, and Markham breezes through the 3rd inning. A 1-2-3 3rd inning. We are still scoreless here at Rogers Center. The Jays in this 2010 season. Tampa Bay has a 10-7 advantage so far. Last year, the Blue Jays won just 4 of the 18 games against Tampa Bay.
There's been some good games between these two teams all season long. There have been some blowouts. There was a 9-0 Tampa win and a 10-1 win. Of course, yesterday's 13-1, but a lot of one-run games. 7 one-run games between these two teams all season long. It's been a lot of fun watching these two go back and forth.
John Buck's in a hole 0-2. Buck's had a fine season. We'd mentioned Sean Markham's great comeback season. John Buck has established a new career high in RBI and has tied his career high in home runs. This time he strikes out against Jeff Neiman. 4th strikeout for the big right-hander.
That's the Neiman that we saw earlier this year when he was working quickly, pumping fastballs in there and using his breaking ball to finish off batters. Every time that ball goes out of the strike zone and John Buck can't stay up with it. It's like that split change.
Fastball missed away.
I misspoke. There were 8 one-run games between these two teams this year. I remember that series that we played here against Tampa where we had a chance to sweep them. Tampa has that ability to come back and took a couple of wins away from the Blue Jays here at Rogers Center.
Yeah, you look at the numbers for the season series. The Rays have pitched well against the hard-hitting Blue Jays. Home runs. Blue Jays have an advantage over just about every team they face.
That's a given. But I think that what that shows right there, that board that we just threw up there, shows you the ability of the Tampa Bay Rays to score more runs in different ways. Although we have out-homered them, Toronto has out-homered them, Tampa has outscored.
Opposite field, ball's hit well. Jennings has great speed, and he cruises underneath it. Second out of the inning. Boy, he could get a jump on the ball.
Long strides, and he gets a great jump. He entered the game yesterday with a great catch. This time, watch him go to the foul line very quickly. Takes a good route and has to slow down.
For Tampa Bay fans, get used to that look there. You might see that next year in left field if Carl Crawford leaves to free agency.
I know they don't want to hear that. What a talent.
Back to the top of the order, Dwayne Wise bats with 2 outs.
But the point I was making was Tampa Bay has outscored the Blue Jays by 34 runs in 18 games. It's nearly 2 a game, but the Blue Jays have out-homered them, and I think it makes the case that you have to find different ways to score runs.
A balanced offense for sure. You mentioned the walks that Tampa Bay takes. That has a lot to do with it. They steal. Over 150 steals this year. They're good base runners, too. They advance. You mentioned the trajectory of a ball in the dirt. We saw Zobrist do it on ball 4. Advance from second to third. A breaking ball. He saw it was going to bounce in the dirt. He didn't wait until it bounced.
You know the thing about them, too, it's not a sometimes thing. It's an everyday thing with Tampa Bay. They have a culture right now of winning that is just spreading throughout that whole organization. And you've been on teams where that happens. I mean, you come to the ballpark expecting to win.
That's exactly the mindset you have to have every single day, and Tampa Bay does it. They don't care who you're playing, where you're playing, road, home, doesn't make any difference. You get the same effort every day.
What can I do today to help my team win a ball game? If it's going from first to third or making a big pitch, there's so many different things within the context of 9 innings that you can do to help your team win.
Tampa Bay has won the most road games in baseball. 43 road wins. Full count.
Winning on the road is an attitude, I think. I have played on teams that have gone into some tough venues and said, you know, we have no chance today, and they've thrown in the towel before the first pitch. Also gone into those same tough places with good teams and say, hey, we're winning this game. We're going to figure out a way to come out and win.
Dwayne Wise shoots it down the left field line. Jennings with great speed dove head first and hit that wall. What an effort.
As a fan, the first thing you worry about when you see a player go headfirst into the stands and jamming his neck against that wall. This is an all-out effort by Jennings, and he's upset that he doesn't come up with the ball.
The reaction is look into the glove to see if you have the ball because it hit into webbing. So he's got his neck turned around. He didn't mind that. He's a football player. He's a wide receiver in college. Managers are going to talk to young players about that. You know, you don't have to catch everything. What an at-bat for Dwayne Wise. He works the walk out of Jeff Neiman with 2 outs. That was some at-bat.
That was a great at-bat. The ability to lay off that 3-2 curveball. Now let's use that speed and get into scoring position for a hot hitter. I will take my chances with Dwayne Wise trying to steal early in the count with Escobar at the plate.
And Neiman certainly was bothered when Vernon Wells was there at first. He's peeking over his shoulder already. Wise broke and didn't like his jump. Escobar, a strikeout victim in the first. Lifted into center field. Zobrist, the right fielder, calling for it. Now Upton takes over and makes the catch. Blue Jays strand another base runner. Neiman has walked 2, but he's stranded both base runners. Slams hard into the wall down the left field line, popped to his feet. And when he returns to the dugout, gets high fives for a great effort. And he smashed up against that wall pretty hard. And there's the pitching coach who's most appreciative of that.
Yeah, helping out his starter. And the manager comes down. Shows you the type of athleticism that he possesses. But again, boy, going into that face first, that's the first thing I think of. Young players smashing their head against the wall.
Sean Rodriguez struck out against Markham his first time up. Drills this to left field, but it's going to hang up for Snyder. Travis Snyder, an easy play. Routine out to start the fourth. Sean Markham's making his 28th start of the season, and he's really finishing up on a high note.
9 earned runs in those 5 starts. That's covering 49 innings. He's averaged 7 innings per start. Just 7 base on balls in his last 5 starts. And that's always the key for Markham when he is mixing that fastball and the changeup in there and he's throwing it for strikes, not walking anybody.
I don't think anybody could have expected this kind of dominance at the end of the season from Markham. Missing an entire season a year ago, coming back from Tommy John surgery, but says he feels fresh, has no physical concerns whatsoever, and his command and rhythm have been as good as they have at any point in the season. Popped up over near the seats and back out of play.
When spring training started, I don't think there was anybody in the Blue Jay organization, media, fans, had any inkling of what Sean Markham was going to do this year. It could have gone this way or it could have gone that way. And to his credit, he has come out and I think has pitched beautiful baseball all season long. There were a couple of starts here and there where he got knocked around, and that's going to happen over the course of a season. But for the most part, he has been the stopper of this team. He has set the tone for the starters all season long. And his record could be so much better if he got a little bit more support.
Vernon Wells trying to run this one down. It's over his head off the wall. Longoria headed to second, and he will stop there. Evan Longoria with the 1-out double, his 44th of the season.
This ball is smoked by Longoria. You've got equal amounts of power to left center and to right center, and shows you the type of power he has. He's now going to tie Jason Worth of the Philadelphia Phillies for the most doubles in all of baseball. Banging that one over Vernon Wells' head. 44 of them now.
He was tied with Miguel Cabrera of the Tigers until hitting that double off the wall in center.
44 doubles last year. He has done it again this year. Last year, 33 homers, 44 doubles, 113 RBIs. Only 3 major leaguers have those type of numbers the first 3 seasons in the big leagues. And it's a who's who. Albert Pujols, Alex Rodriguez, and Hal Trotsky. You can name Mr. Longoria to that list.
Longoria's doubled the first hit of the ball game. Both pitchers have walked 2. Rocco Baldelli struck out on a changeup his first time up. Ball and a strike. 1 out, 4th inning. No score. Just off the plate outside. Markham, you can see his body language suggesting that he thought that was a strike. It's important for Markham to get those close calls because his whole bag of tricks is set up on execution. He sets up looking for one pitch to get you out.
So you have to watch the whole sequence of pitches when he is working against certain batters. There's a good pitch right there on the outside part of the plate. It's a good way to describe it, his bag of tricks, because he's got so many. He's got so many options within his pitching sequences that he sets up hitters. Right now, he's got Baldelli looking out over the plate after those last 2 pitches, out over the plate. Let's see what he comes back with here to try and get him out.
2-2. Well, with the changeup. In a situation like this, teams I played on in Milwaukee especially, the base runner at second base, Evan Longoria, can look into the glove of Markham as he sets that changeup. And you could relay changeup to the hitter. And because Markham's pitch is so devastating, he throws it so often, you could work out a system where the guy at second could look into that glove and see him flare that hand for the changeup.
We used to do that when we were with the Indians against the Minnesota Twins. Frank Viola gave away his changeup all the time when you got a runner at second base. The head was still. It was going to be a fastball. If it moved around, it was a changeup.
Baldelli gets underneath it and pops it over near the left field line. Travis Snyder in fair territory makes the catch.
You could win an all-new Honda CRZ and other great prizes when you vote for the Honda Play of the Month. Vote today at BlueJays.com.
2 outs. Longoria at second with the double. Then Zobrist, the right fielder, walked in the second.
Sean Markham does a good job of hiding the ball in his glove. A lot of times you'll see pitchers, sometimes their hands will be a little bit deeper into the glove for certain pitches, and you can steal pitches that way. But you can see right there, he has a big glove to really hide what he's trying to throw. So no stealing.
Here's where you would look into the glove from the second base perspective. You have to be confident, of course, that you're seeing it correctly and make that call. Then your teammates have to trust you too.
And that doesn't always happen.
Line drive toward the gap. Wise is not going to get it. It's over his head and off the wall. Longoria comes home as Zobrist drives him in an opposite field double with 2 outs.
What a series Ben Zobrist is putting together against the Blue Jays here in Toronto. Homered his first 9, had a couple of extra base hits in yesterday's ball game. And now he's going to stay right on this pitch. Ball's away, stays on top of it, rips it over the head of Dwayne Wise in right field. He is going to change places with Evan Longoria. A couple of extra base hits here have got the Rays on the board.
And they have done it by going to the opposite field. Longoria went straightaway center. Zobrist stayed on it and goes to the opposite power alley. Leonardo Navarro. It's the first pitch strike. Navarro homered off of Markham, batting as a right-handed hitter down in Tampa Bay back on the 9th of June. That's when Markham really reacted to Zobrist and Navarro batting right-handed as switch hitters. Kind of took him out of his game for a while. Off the glove of John Buck, and Zobrist advances.
I guess it
kind of caught him on the heel of his glove.
Watch the reaction, thinking it's away, and then has to backhand it, as that ball had some great life to it, great movement right at the end. Off of his glove, Zobrist is going to move up. I guess when you go over your scouting reports and you talk about hitters that you're going to be facing, and you're talking about left-handers and this is what we're going to do, and then you see him for the first time in the right-hander's batter's box, that can throw you off your game a little bit.
Navarro with a 1-1 count. Off-speed pitch popped in the air in left field, and Snyder is there. But Tampa Bay breaks through against Markham. 2 doubles in the inning, an RBI double by Ben Zobrist. 1-0 Rays.
in Sharp Aquos Quatron TV Plus Blu-ray player. Quatron has 4 colors, not 3. To enter, visit hitahomerunwithsharp.ca. That's hitahomerunwithsharp.ca.
Our Blue Jays have done a great job of hitting home runs this season. 223 home runs. That's the second highest total in their franchise history. Boston Red Sox way behind. Yankees, Brewers, Arizona Diamondbacks, the top 2 teams in the National League.
You're going to have to get it on the last couple of games here to set a new record. That's where Bautista has hit a lot of his home runs, deep into left center field.
High breaking ball as Neiman falls behind Bautista. Breaking ball, line to left field. Jennings back. He's not going to get it. It's off the wall and past him. Bautista headed for second base. He will stop there. A line drive off the top of the left field fence. Leadoff double for Bautista. First hit for the Jays.
When he has that leg kick for his timing mechanism working, off-speed pitchers are no problem for Jose Bautista. A little bit of a top spin shot here as he lines it to left field. Comes down right in the middle of the wall, bounces away from Jennings. But there's something about Bautista when he lifts that leg. He's got all his power on his back leg, and he really explodes through the baseball.
Great bat speed flying through the zone. Bautista's at second, nobody out. Vernon Wells comes back from an inside fastball. I think Bautista had an extra little heartbeat going that first baseline, thinking that might be number 47. He looked at it a long time. There's no question about how hard he hit it, just about whether it was high enough.
Generally speaking, hitters know when they hit a home run. But every now and then there are balls that you hit that you're not real sure of. That was a case right there for Jose Bautista. You know, the worst thing that he could do is start thinking about it. Because when you're up there and you're thinking about home runs are a result of a good frame of mind with a good swing path. You don't go up there saying, okay, I'm going to hit this ball out. It's impossible.
Snap throw to second. Not in time. It may have been in time, but Rodriguez didn't get the tag on the bag quickly.
That was a set play by the Tampa Bay Rays. They recognized that Bautista was getting a very big secondary lead, and Navarro comes out flying with that ball. Throws it down to second base just to keep Bautista a little bit closer, and they almost got him.
For a second time, Wells walks. First and second, nobody out. Boy, Neiman gets preoccupied with base runners to the point where it's a real distraction. And now Jim Hickey, the pitching coach, has come out maybe to address that issue. And not a problem with his stuff. We've seen good quality pitches from him all afternoon again.
Tough to block out those base runners after you had a ball hit off the top of the wall and then a 4-pitch walk. You've got to block that out and say, okay, that's done. We saw that yesterday. Ricky Romero had problems in the 4th inning in his start yesterday after the first 2 batters got on base. He spoke a little bit about that after the game also. The one that really bothered him was the 4-pitch walk to start the inning, and he just couldn't get it back on track to finish out the inning.
Jason Bartlett walked on 4 pitches, and then he hit Carl Crawford. And the floodgates were open. Lyle Overbay, first and second, nobody down. Swings at the first pitch. That's a base hit into right field. Zobrist takes it on one hop. Bautista stops at third. Hey fans, the base bases are loaded, and we're only one swing away from awarding a 60-inch Sharp Aquos Quadron TV. Quadron for colors never before seen on TV. To enter, visit hitahomerunwithsharp.ca. This is not unlike what happened to Neiman his last start against the Blue Jays. Bouncing ball off the end of the bat. Neiman comes home over the head of the pitcher. Here comes Wells from third. The throw back to home, not in time.
Boy, a little bit of everything on that play for the Blue Jays. Ball tapped out in front by Aaron Hill. And really the only play was the one, a shovel to the plate. But Neiman on his backhand overthrows it to Navarro. Now there's a little collision at home plate between Bautista, the runner, and Neiman. And that's not going to affect Vernon Wells as he's running hard all the way. Reads that ball is over the head of Navarro, and he tries to come around to score just ahead of the tag. That was a high tag by Neiman. Good play by Mike Riley, the home plate umpire, right on top of that play.
Just like that, the Blue Jays have erased a 1-0 deficit. Fielder's choice, no RBI, error on the pitcher. First and third, nobody out. In Neiman's last start against the Blue Jays, he breezed through 5 innings. Gave up 2 hits. And then in that 6th inning, he didn't retire a batter. Faced 6 Blue Jays and couldn't get out of the inning.
Breezed right through those first 5 innings. And I wouldn't say that he is like breezed today. It's really been a struggle for him from the 2nd inning on. A walk to lead off the 2nd. Lots of pitches in the 2nd, lots of pitches in the 3rd, and then so far here in the 4th, the Blue Jays have been able to capitalize on his wildness.
Two-1 Blue Jays. That splitter foul at the plate. Andy Sonnenstein loosening up for the Rays. And lays off the high fastball. In that 6th inning back on August 31st, Fred Lewis started it with a single. Dwayne Wise followed with a single. A hit batter and then 3 consecutive doubles. Wells, Lind, and John Buck knocked Neiman out of the game.
Fighting it. He is fighting himself right now, trying to control his pitches.
Boy, you picked up on it right away. How deliberate he was. How robotic in his delivery, even early on. Three and 1 to Lind. Way outside. Check in with Sam Cosentino.
Pat, what you speak of is exactly what Joe Madden said yesterday about Jeff Neiman, that he really needs to trust his health, trust his arm, go out there and really let it fly, not to try and guide pitches, and to continue to work downhill. When you're 6'9", the further downhill you can work, that plane trying to hit the baseball becomes a lot tougher for hitters. But as you mentioned, it looks like he's guiding it. Joe Madden wants him to go out there, just go out there and let it fly.
And Joe Madden, you could see how concerned he is now. Nobody out, bases 10 loaded here for John Buck. Two runs in. Still nobody out. Center field and deep. B.J. Upton back. Tagging at third is Overbay. He comes in to score. Blue Jays have taken a 2-run lead.
A sacrifice fly for John Buck. Third run comes across to score. As Buck will pick up the RBI.
That was a routine fly ball all the way. And I think Aaron Hill could have read it better and tagged up at second. It was deep, and certainly deep enough for him to move over to third.
And he knows it too.
There's one out. Could have been first and third with one out.
As soon as that play happened, and it's a tough play when you are a runner at second base and there's a ball that is hit in the gap. He goes off, but went off just a little bit too far. When Upton went back on this ball, watch, he goes off too far. The rule of thumb is, as soon as he got there, he said to Brian Butterfield, "That's my fault right there." He pointed to his chest. The rule of thumb is, generally speaking, the closer the outfielder gets to the ball, the closer you get to second base. Then you can tag up.
There he goes. He's going to make up for it, but Lynn pops it up. Hill broke for third. He got all the way to third base. Now he has to retreat.
Oh, and he had that one stolen. Good job, Aaron Hill. Way to recognize your mistake and then try to make up for it. He had a huge jump at second base. Would have had it stolen easily. Look, he takes off before Neiman is even allowed to get the ball out of his hand, and now has to go back to second base.
Travis Snyder had plenty of time to recognize the jump and just take the pitch.
Sure, you can hit with one strike. I'd much rather hit with one strike and a runner at third. Less than 2 outs.
Dwayne Wise trying to build upon this 3-run inning.
I was watching Travis Snyder after this. Watch the reaction. Now, I don't know if he's upset that he missed that pitch or he's upset that he swung at it, seeing that Hill had that great jump at second base. Hits that ball out of the ballpark, nobody says anything.
1-1. Upstairs, 2 balls and a strike.
It looked like a pitch that he could have hit.
Yeah, it was a pretty good pitch to hit, but at the same time, as you were mentioning, you take that strike, Hill steals third, you get a chance to drive him in with the fly ball. Good curveball. 2-2. Tampa Bay scored a run in the top of the fourth. Blue Jays have scored 3 here in the bottom half of the inning. Here's that splitter for the strikeout. Neiman finally closes out the fourth. But the Blue Jays break through. They have taken a 3-run lead after 4. Page. Receive game scores, roster moves, lineups, group status, and ticket offers straight from the Blue Jays. Facebook.com/Blue Jays for more details. This is the last game of the second to last homestand of the year. Things are winding down quickly. Certainly, Blue Jays want to finish on a high note, finish over 500. Brad Hopp takes a fastball for a strike.
They get to play for something also. You know, maybe they don't make the playoffs, but they can determine who gets into the playoffs. They played Texas and split those 4 games. Now they get the Rays here. They got the Yankees and Minnesota. So there's something to say about the pennant races in the American League.
Markham ahead of Hopp, 0-2. Fastball pulled to second. 1 out.
You could win an all-new Honda CRZ and other great prizes when you vote for the Honda Play of the Month. Vote today at BlueJays.com.
1 out, top of the 5th inning. Desmond Jennings, the rookie left fielder, batting in the 9th spot. Jennings had his first major league hit in yesterday's game. It was a pinch hit double in the 8th inning down the right field line. It's in a hole, 0-2.
Reminds me of Matt Kemp of the Los Angeles Dodgers. Tall, athletic, can run. You know he's going to hit for power the older he gets.
Matt Kemp was a 2-sport star, but his second sport was basketball. May have been his first sport. Many people thought Matt Kemp could play in the NBA.
I remember when he was a rookie, raw. You could just tell that he was dripping with talent. See the same thing from Desmond Jennings. Wears the same number as Matt Kemp.
Jennings was a wide receiver in football. And after a year at junior college in which he caught 54 passes, many people thought he would forego baseball and continue his football career.
It's good to see baseball starting to sign more of these athletes because they're exciting players. I think the game is going back to more running, speed, athleticism. We're starting to see more and more athletes enter the world of baseball.
1 ball, 2 strikes. 2-2. Jennings, because of that, thought that he might pursue football, slipped to the 10th round. Certainly physically alone. A much better body than you expect to get in the 10th round. Markham gets him on a changeup.
First round talent in the 10th round. That's important. Markham is going to show him the changeup right here, and it messes up the timing of a young hitter who's not very familiar with that type of pitch. Right now, John Markham has been cooling down the hot bats.
Tampa Bay's been red hot with the bats. 270 over the last 6 games. They've averaged nearly 9 runs per game scored. Bounced off home plate. This is going to be a tough play. Escobar doesn't have time. B.J. Upton outran the base roll there.
Talking of athleticism, we're just talking about speed. As soon as this ball got by Jose Bautista, he was the only guy who could make this play, and he can't get to it. Even with the great arm of Escobar, easily B.J. Upton beats that play. No tap right there, a catch and a throw. That's one of the things that he has been working on with Brian Butterfield, is catching the ball from the backhand and gunning it across the infield. No wasted motion.
Jason Bartlett 0 for 2. Fouls back the first pitch. 3-1 Blue Jays lead it, trying to win the final game of this series. Tampa Bay won 9-8 on Friday, 13-1 in a rout yesterday. And 2.
That's a good way to shut down that running game. Use your fastball and get ahead. Not a bad time for the Rays to try and steal a run here. Get a man in the scoring position with 2 outs.
And you see John Buck looking into the dugout. Nick Leva calls the running game defense. A ball and 2 strikes. Nick Leva will look at the third base coach and try to catch the manager in the opposing dugout, see if he can pick up something as they flash their signs back and forth. One more look at Upton, see if he's chipping his hand. There goes Upton. Ball's bounced in the dirt, and Upton will steal it standing up. 40 for E.J. Upton now.
It's only been thrown out 7 times. That's another thing about the Rays. They've got a great steal percentage. They and the Philadelphia Phillies do a great job of stealing and not getting thrown out. So now he's in scoring position. Give him an even 40, which ties him for Brett Gardner for 4th in the American League.
Well, Juan Pierre just keeps on running the bases very well. Carl Crawford with 42, not in the game today. Upton's in scoring position for Bartlett. Strike 3 on the court. John Markham put the changeup in Bartlett's mind and crossed him up. Goes inside with the fastball and racks up the strikeout. Trust comfort zone. Great Blue Jay fans enjoying a beautiful afternoon here. Great perspective as the Blue Jays lead Tampa Bay. They're sitting there courtesy of TD Canada Trust. Bottom of the 5th inning. Jays up 3-1. It'll be 2, 3, and 4 in the batting order. Escobar, Bautista, and Wells. Be a big inning for the Rays and Neiman. See if he can't command the strike zone a little more efficiently here in the 5th.
Joe Madden hoping that he can get through this, but if he doesn't, he's got some action already warming up in the bullpen. Wants to leave it right here at a 3-1 game, but still, on the other hand, give his starter a little bit more confidence. Give him a chance to work out his problems out on the mound.
Randy Choate, the sole left-hander, at least for the time being. There seems to be some reinforcements on the way, but right now there's only one lefty in the pen. The reinforcement, Jake McGee, a young left-hander that they're going to use in the bullpen the final 2 weeks of September into October to see if he can't morph into possibly David Price from a couple of years ago.
Still pitching in the playoffs for AAA Durham.
Into center field, Upton coming in and makes the running catch.
Wow. You better hit the ball on a line if you want to get the ball down against this outfield for Tampa Bay. They are young, they are quick, they get great jumps, and if there's any air under the ball, there is no way you're going to get a hit. Zobrist was right there, and Upton just runs right through that ball.
Everybody on the Blue Jays dugout bench saying, get down, because they know if it stays up, this outfield will run under it. Jose Bautista, just his second hit in 14 at-bats against Neiman. His last time up. Little looper into left field, and Jennings cruises over into the gap. 2 quick outs here in the 5th.
That's what they were looking for Jeff Neiman. Work quickly, throw strikes. Quality pitches so far here in the 5th inning.
I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a 1-2-3 inning that Madden gets him out of the game. Finish on a high note. Let him walk off the field saying, okay, that's what we want. Next time out, he can build on that. Vernon Wells, a pop-up in the left field. Should be a quick inning for Jeff Neiman. Halt of the order goes down quietly. A 1-2-3 5th inning. Start for both pitchers.
Yeah, it certainly has. Just 5 hits combined given up by these 2 starting pitchers by Neiman and Markham. We don't get a lot of strikeouts when they are on the mound. Usually they put the ball in play. They have had their hiccups along the way with the base on balls, but for the most part they have kept them in the game. It's been a fine pitched game so far.
Neiman had a very quick 5th inning. Markham's had 2 1-2-3 innings, the first and the third. We're in the 6th inning. Sean Rodriguez batting 3rd for the first time this season. Well, that changeup just cuts at the end and catches the outside corner.
I want to know how he can do that. You know, he's been throwing changeups his whole life. He wasn't allowed to throw breaking balls when he was a young pitcher growing up. So he has really refined that changeup. And again, he has the ability to make it do different things. You don't see too many people in the big leagues with that ability.
Chris Walton says that Markham can manipulate the baseball at the end of his delivery better than anybody he's ever coached. He's got great hand action out in front and can make that ball cut and sink. Bouncing ball over the mound. Escobar can't make the play on it. That was going to be tough to throw out Rodriguez. That ball went right over the mound and exactly over second base.
Do or die play for Escobar. Look at this one, right over the rubber, right over the bag. Even if he comes up with it, it didn't look like he was in a throwing position where he could get rid of it with anything on it to get the runner over at first base. Rodriguez, like a lot of these Rays, can run also.
Evan Longoria been on base twice this afternoon. Markham missed down and away. Three-1 ball game, top of the sixth.
Carlos Pena was talking the other day about this lineup for the Tampa Bay Rays and how well it all works together. He likened it like a machine, how it works together, how all the pieces fit together. You've got a little bit of power and speed, and you mentioned the switch hitters earlier. So if one guy is off of his game, there's plenty of other players in this lineup that can help you score runs. And it's a great analogy because he's true. This team is built a lot like the teams in the American League East that can score runs in different fashions.
Three and 0. Certainly creates a lot of distractions for a pitching coach or a pitcher to break down a lineup. You're looking at, generally you focus on 3, 4, 5, maybe even 6, but in this Rays lineup, you got to worry about the power and speed of Upton, the way Bartlett handles the bat. Today, Sean Rodriguez has worn out the Blue Jays. I mean, literally all the way 1 through 9 in the order. On the ground, left side, gloved by Bautista. Not any time. Ball got hung up in the webbing of his glove. He couldn't get it out.
He took a very quick glance to second base to see if he could get Rodriguez, the runner coming over from first base, but he was hustling all the way. As soon as the ball was hit by Longoria, great range by Bautista, knocks it down, takes a quick look, and there's the bobble right there. And Longoria is going to beat that one out. Something else that this lineup does to a manager, he makes it tough to manage the last parts of the game with his bullpen, with all the options that you have with this team. You can't just bring in the lefty to get 3 guys out. It might take you 3 pitchers to get through an inning.
And that's why Tampa Bay has outscored their opponents by 53 runs in the 8th inning. That's just the 8th inning.
From the 7th inning on, they have outscored their opponents more than anybody in all of baseball.
First and second, nobody out. Rocco Baldelli looks at the ball down and away. Markham looking for a ground ball. Tampa Bay with back-to-back infield hits to start the 6th. Again, Markham not pleased with Mike Riley's strike zone, felt that was a pretty good fastball. 2 balls, no strikes to Baldelli. high pop up, shallow center field. Escobar calling for it. Big out for Markham.
It's a big out as you see Jason Frazier get up, and he's starting to get loose. A lot of options for Cito Gaston in the bullpen here the last couple of weeks of the season. It's also a big out because the runners couldn't move up on anything. That was an infield fly. And now on a well-placed pitch, if he can get the ball on the ground, he can get out of the inning.
Ben Zobrist drove in the first run of the game with an opposite field double over the head of Dwayne Wise in right. Wise is fairly shallow in right field. Zobrist went the opposite way his last time up and drove it over. Wise off the wall into right center. One out, first and second. Rodriguez at second, Longoria at first. There's a bunt. Unpredictable. Without question, the most unpredictable offense in the American League.
I didn't see that coming anywhere. Dropping a bunt down with runners on first and second and just one out, especially the way that he's been swinging the bat. But he tries to catch Jose Bautista deep. See Joe Madden going over some situations with his bench coach.
Dave Martinez, the bench coach, walked up and suggested something to Madden, and then he began to look for a particular player. And Zobrist pops it back. He's in the hole 0-2. But Madden in this series has talked about the value of Dave Martinez. That's Reed Brignac, that he just spoke to.
The two of them, supposedly they're getting together, each of them thinking a couple of moves ahead.
The lineups, the matchup sheets, lots of information, and they both have a copy of that. Martinez still barking instructions down the end of the bench. 0-2 Zobrist. Out in front of that changeup. There's so many things that are going on during the course of an inning. As a manager, you try to anticipate everything. But boy, it's great to have that guy standing at your right shoulder saying, okay, here's what I'm thinking. And now he's called his pitching coach over, looking at the scoreboard, talking about where they are if we get back in this game. A lot of things going on.
Pitching alone could take your full concentration during the inning, let alone all the other little things that go on during the game. Dave Martinez was telling me before the ball game, he was saying how Joe Madden is so good at when he bounces things off of, he wants to know what Dave Martinez is thinking. A lot of time you'll see managers really stuck in their ways and doing their own thing, and they won't ask for the input from their pitching coach, or they won't ask for the input from their bench coach. But he says Madden tries to take all the information that they have and decipher it and then try to make a decision.
Well, a lot of coordination going on there. While Madden was talking to Hickey about his pitching thoughts, Martinez checked with Bobby Ramos, the bullpen coach. 0-2 to Zobrist. Another changeup he got a piece of. Randy Choate, the only left-hander, had been throwing down in the bullpen. There are 4 left-handed hitters in the next 6 spots in the Blue Jays lineup. This is the same spot that Madden used Choate the other night.
6th inning to navigate through all those left-handers, and it worked out for him.
Zobrist down the right field line. This is trouble. It's a fair ball. One hops into the seats, and Zobrist, what an at-bat he's had. He hung with it, fouled off some tough pitches, got a pitch away from him, and drove it down the right field line. His second double in RBI of the afternoon.
Fell behind 0-2, and then he had to battle. And he certainly did, fouling off some really tough pitches from Sean Markham until he could get one he likes. And it looked like a fastball away from him. Inside out swing, and he was able to keep the ball fair down the right field line. By about 3 or 4 feet, it hops into the stands for a ground rule double. And now the inning is really set up nicely for Tampa. Still only 1 out.
Second and third, 1 out. A 1-run game. Infield comes in, trying to cut down a run at the plate. Bunt's always a possibility. Ouch. Morrow fouled that run off the top of his foot.
Ball on the inner half. That one right off his big toe.
Brian Butterfield, the third base coach and infield instructor, has a bulletin board inside the clubhouse that only the players can see. And he writes on there, in regard to Tampa Bay, everybody will bunt except Pena and Crawford. And everybody in this situation in the lineup, you can anticipate a possible bunt. Now it's interesting, the infield has backed up.
The middle of the infield is going to play back while the corners stay in. Evan Longoria is getting a running start over there at third base.
The reason you back up now, it's the 6th inning. You back up, you increase your infield range, you get a chance to make an out. You'll concede a run, but you're the home team, a tie game, 6, you got a lot of at-bats left. Popped up into center. It's shallow. Longoria tagging at third. He breaks in, stops. Good throw from Wells, just not that deep. Navarro didn't hit it far enough.
Yeah, that's some valuable runs out there for Tampa. You're not going to be running into an out just because someone didn't hit it deep enough. You read the throw, you see where it is, and if it's on line as the runner at third base, you stop.
Cedar Gaston has a right-hander and a left-hander ready in the bullpen. Boy, this is where you really challenge as a manager. They're talking to both Markham and John Buck about the Brad Hopp at bat. Desmond Jennings, the rookie, is on deck. Probably a point Cedar's making is, hey, don't be afraid. If you need to, put Hopp on, and we'll deal with the rookie.
He's got him. He got Hoff both times by swinging at his pitch. He used his changeup very effectively to get Hopp. Keep doing that same thing. You're right. If he ends up walking and bring up Jennings, then I think we're going to see a move from Joe Madden. That's where we might see a Carl Crawford pinch hit, and that's the lefty's got to be ready for the Blue Jays.
2 outs, second and third. Brad Hopp. First pitch changeup finds the outside corner.
So there's lots of options, and you're not just thinking about the moment here. You might be thinking 2 or 3 batters ahead. You might be thinking an inning ahead, 2 innings ahead. There's so many different things going into the process right now of this at bat.
Off the plate inside, a ball on the strike. Blue Jays lead by a run. 2 outs, top of the 6th inning. Two and 0. It's 2-1 is the count. I misspoke. There are 2 outs, and now John Buck wants to go back and reiterate what Cito Gaston told the battery.
Even if he walks him, you can face Jennings. Do you let the youngster hit? I know we're getting ahead of ourselves right here.
Well, you have a lot of options, certainly. You've got Joyce, J.So. Crawford, a lot of left-handed bats. Got a couple of switch hitter in Ibar, and a lot of options at this point. But we are ahead of ourselves.
Yep.
It's Brad Hopp. 2 balls and a strike.
Great changeup. Just keep throwing it. Again, Hopp got himself out his first 2 times up. He struck out on a changeup in the dirt and then grounded out to second base on a good changeup. His last time up, that was in the 5th inning, so just keep throwing it.
2-2, 2 down. Ball bounced in the dirt, gets away from Buck. Longoria comes in, and the Rays have tied it.
Hi, Brad, something you want? Come on.
So the wild pitch in the dirt allows Longoria to come home from third.
Well, I certainly wasn't expecting this from Sean Markham. He's got great command, great control. He had only thrown 2 wild pitches all season long. Goes back to the well with the changeup. Hopp stays off of it, and the ball squirts away from Buck, and we're all tied. There's some unpredictability right there. That's the last thing I was thinking about was wild pitch when Sean Markham's on the mound.
Full count. Zobrist at third. Hopp got a piece of it. Tampa Bay is a tough lineup to work your way through. We talked about that, the balance. Hopp adds some veteran depth.
They haven't got the ball out of the infield, and they've got to run. A couple of infield singles, a wild pitch. And we are all tied. A couple of runs have scored.
Another full count. Swing and a miss, the strikeout. Brad Hopp goes down for a second time, but Tampa Bay scores 2. Didn't hit the ball hard, but they have tied it up. Hopp to end the inning. A couple of infield hits. A double by Ben Zobrist and the wild pitch that tied it. A frustrating inning for Sean Markham. Up over 100 pitches. He was looking for his 13th win of the season, which would establish a new career high. And Randy Choate, the left-hander, comes in.
You called it. As soon as they tied the ball game up and a great inning by Neiman, they go to Choate with all the left-handers coming up. 75 games now for Choate. That leads the American League and it actually ties the team record for the Tampa Bay Rays, which is held by Sean Camp, who did that back in 2006 when he was with Tampa. So Choate, the lefty specialist, now will work against Lyle Overbay.
This pitching change is brought to you by Home Hardware. Homeowners helping homeowners. Overbay takes the first pitch outside. Choate came in a similar situation. Rays were up 7-5 in the 6th inning. And he came in the exact same spot in the order. 4 left-handers in the next 6 spots in the lineup.
You can't take those big hitters out. You know, there's really nothing that Cito Gaston can do with these lefties. He's got to hope that they can come through against a very tough left-hander who's been very good out of the bullpen.
Overbay swings at that breaking ball. Choate in the 6th inning had a 1-2-3-6. He got Overbay, Hill, and Lynn. Struck out Hill and Lynn. Then he gave up a leadoff home run to John Buck, struck out Travis Snyder, walked to Wayne Wise, and left. And that was the 6 batters he was entrusted with.
That is about what or how they have used him all season long against lefties. Generally a 1 inning or 1 batter or 2 batter. You saw those 75 appearances for Randy Choate this year, which is the most in the American League. 75 appearances, but he's only thrown 40 innings this year.
Overbay to Longoria wide of third, and Choate retires the first batter he faced.
If you're going to try and navigate through 6 hitters, you want to do it as quickly as possible. That game that you were just mentioning, there were times where the Blue Jays had good at-bats and really extended his stay out there. He wasn't the same pitcher when he walked Dwayne Wise that he was when he first came in. So extend the bats and see and throw a lot of pitches. Maybe he'll make a mistake for you.
Aaron Hill struck out on Friday night when he faced Choate. Choate has that sidearm delivery, but his velocity is challenging, 87, 88 at times. And then he'll bend that breaking ball in on the hands of the right-handed hitters.
Righty's having a lot more success against Randy Choate this year than left-handers. Uses that breaking ball against the lefties. Will challenge him a little bit more with the fastball, the right-handers. Tries to turn it over and sink that ball.
Against the left-handers, he uses that big sweeping breaking ball. Very effective. Left-handed hitters feel like that ball's coming from behind their hip.
He'll show it to the right-handers when he gets to 2 strikes. He'll try and backdoor to the right-handed batters. But mostly it's crossfire action. Let's see if we can get a ground ball.
3 balls and a strike. Bounced foul. 3-3 ball game. Tampa Bay has tied it up with 2 runs in the top of the 6th. Grant Balfour, the hard-throwing right-hander, loosening up. This has been a very good bullpen for Joe Maddon all year long. The addition of Rafael Soriano to close out games has pushed everybody down in a more effective role.
All you have to do is look at the rankings of where the Rays rank their bullpen. They're first in strikeouts to walk ratio. They're first in saves, save percentages. Soriano, the main man for that.
Joaquin Benoit has also been an integral part of this team. But with Balfour back and rounding back into form, the back end of their bullpen should be in good shape. Balfour was on the disabled list with an intercostal strain. And for the first time this year, the first time in Joe Maddon's career, he had a 7th, 8th, and 9th inning pitcher down there that he could count on. Aaron Hill drives it to left field. Jennings has plenty of room, 2 outs.
And they were all dealing, too. That's one thing that Madden said to me the last time that they were here at Rogers Center. He said, boy, our bullpen is really loaded right now, and they are set up nicely. Guys were hot. You mentioned Balfour and Choate and Wheeler and Soriano.
Adam Lynn, 2 outs in the 6th. Lynn is lined out and walked. It's a 3-3 game. Blue Jays have but 2 hits. They scored a run on a fielder's choice and an error by the pitcher. There's that sweeping breaking ball. Aaron Hill was credited with an RBI in the 4th inning on his fielder's choice, the ball that Neiman fielded and flipped it over the head of the catcher. And then on the errant throw, Wells came in to score. Three and 0 count to Adam Lynn. Right on the corner. If Lynn should reach here, don't be surprised if you see Grant Balfour for John Buck. We mentioned Buck homered off of Choate on Friday night. There's the walk. Here comes Joe Madden. Andy Choate knows that the left-hander got away from him, and that's going to be the end of his afternoon.
You've done this before, this managing stuff, haven't you? Thought that one through. He's already made the move to Balfour. He likes that matchup better than the lefty-righty matchup.
Well, Madden could gamble had Lynn been retired, but Choate has to turn the ball over after 2/3 of an inning. Hard-throwing Grant Balfour will be on to face John Buck. 3-3 tie. By Z Zenia. Statistical information provided by StatSync. Music provided by Universal Canada. Summer's winding down on Lake Ontario. Joe Madden has gone to the bullpen. Brent Balfour on to face John Buck with 2 outs and a man on.
Just reinstated, back off the disabled list on September the 1st. He missed 32 games with a freaky injury that happened on July the 29th. Landed him on the DL, that intercostal muscle strain. His 3 appearances since then, he hasn't really been as crisp as he was before he went on the DL. Throws very hard, good fastball, good breaking ball. Last Wednesday in Boston, again, this is the 7th inning man for Joe Maddon. He gave up a home run to Marco Scudero. It was the first run he had given up in the 7th inning all season long. And that's how dominant he has been.
Misses with 2 sliders to fall behind John Buck. The fastball on the corner. Popped out of play, 2-2. Balfour was originally signed by the Minnesota Twins. He then went to Cincinnati for a short, brief time before being claimed by the Brewers. That came on October 5th of 2006. He came to Tampa Bay in a deal for Seth McClung in a trade involving 2 relievers. July 27th of 2007.
And he has been a mainstay in the bullpen for the Rays ever since. Got into 22 games that first year with the Rays. But then he has had seasons of 51, 73, and then just 21 games last year.
Cut out and missed the high fastball. Balfour comes out of the bullpen and bails out Randy Choate. Blue Jays stranded runner. We are tied at 3 after 6. And 3 runs to Tampa Bay.
6 straight starts now that he has thrown at least 6 innings. 3 earned runs. He did have a couple of walks, both of those coming back into the 2nd inning. Sandwiched around a couple of strikeouts. And he pitched 107 pitches today. The wild pitch, I think, was a key for him right now. That's why he's going to end up with a no decision as the run crosses. And what makes that even hurt worse, a couple of pitches later, he struck out Brad Hoff to end the inning. So we're tied at 3 as we head into the 7th inning. Jesse Carlson comes out of the bullpen to pick up Sean Markham. There are Carlson's numbers, 12 games now since he has been recalled.
Done a good job holding opponents to a .257 average. Carlson had a big out on Friday night. Came in to face Carl Crawford and got him to bounce into a fielder's choice to end the scoring threat in the 6th.
A lot like Randy Choate from the Tampa Bay Rays, where he crossfires the ball a little bit, makes it tough on left-handers to pick the ball up.
Desmond Jennings bunts it up the first baseline. That's the interesting thing about Tampa Bay. They preach an approach in the minor leagues the same way they do in the big leagues. So when you call up a rookie, you ask him to do something, he's not caught wide-eyed going, what do you want me to do? A little smile from Dave Martinez, say, yeah, we can even ask our rookies about it.
For years and years, that was happening all around baseball. The Oriole way of playing baseball, the Dodger way, the Yankees. When I was coming up through the Yankee organization, we ran the bunt plays and everything else the same way as the big team.
Jennings has his second big league hit. A leadoff single here in the 7th.
Here are the up-to-the-minute standings in the American League East. The Yankees and Rays, almost a deadlock tie. They are tied in the loss column at 55 losses apiece. Half a game separating the Rays and the Yankees. So every move, every game is so important for Tampa the rest of the way out.
Jesse Carlson gets one batter, and Desmond Jennings singles to center. Jason Frazier comes out of the bullpen. He'll be dealing with B.J. Upton when we come back. Carl Crawford just returned to the dugout bench. You can see he's got his gloves on and his bat in hand. I think that's why Jesse Carlson was on to face one batter, that being the number 9 hitter, Desmond Jennings. Had Frazier come into the game to start the 7th inning, Carl Crawford would have hit against the right hand.
That's why you're the man, right there. Jason Frazier into the game, 60 games this year for Toronto. He has done a good job. A fastball, good changeup, and a good breaking ball. Throws harder than you would think. It's been a while since we have seen Frazier. A couple of days. He did throw an inning against these same Rays. Carlson comes in, faces one batter, gives up the hit, and now Frazier's going to face the righties.
B.J. Upton's had his problems facing Jason Frazier. Just 2 for 13 in their head-to-head matchups. Nobody out. Jennings at first. He looks anxious at first. Tied at 3. 7th inning. Pitch out.
Well, we know he can run. We've seen him in the outfield run down balls. He also had 37 stolen bases when he was in the minor leagues this year. So John Buck's going to keep him close on that pickoff attempt. That was number 1 in the International League before they recalled him. 37 steals for Jennings.
And if you think he was just running at random because he has such great speed, he had a 90.2% success rate. He was caught just 4 times.
That's the thing about the Rays. They steal a lot of bases, but they've got a great percentage. Upton's had 47 attempts this year, and he's only been thrown out 7 times.
There goes Jennings. Buck from his knees. Bounces it late to second. Jennings steals it.
He covers a lot of ground with those long strides that he has from first to second base. He got his first big league hit yesterday, and now will have his first big league stolen base as he aggressively goes into second base. Look how much ground he covers very quickly into the bag.
Boy, there's a lot of energy in his game. We've seen it in the outfield. We've seen it on the bases. Frazier misses inside. 3 balls and a strike. Nobody out. 7th inning. Go-ahead run at second base. I don't know that steal wasn't something that they just planned on for a long time with Desmond Jennings. 159 steals, way ahead of the White Sox and the Athletics.
White Sox have Juan Pierre on their roster. He has 54 stolen bases, almost half of the White Sox total with one guy. The difference between those two teams is you can spread it all the way around with these guys. Ball right off the top of the shoe of B.J. Upton.
Full count. Good pitch, foul back. Escobar keeping his eye on Jennings at the bag at second base, trying to shorten his lead, making sure that he doesn't get a big lead and a jump. Another full count to Upton. Tell you what, you'll get some strikeouts against Tampa Bay, but they will battle you. They have good at bats and they will strike out. They've struck out 6 times here this afternoon. But boy, oh boy, they always make you work for those strikeouts.
Top 3 in the American League in strikeouts, and they know that. They know that that's part of what happens. But you're right, they will make you throw a lot of pitches. They foul off a lot of really good pitches.
Bounce to third. Ortiz to look Jennings back and throws out up. Frazier won the battle.
Might have been ball 4. The ball was down, but Upton can't hold on to it. It accomplishes a couple of things. Jennings can't move up on that ground out. And they get a very fast runner, keep him off the bases. Here's the replay. Ball's going to be down. But too tempting for B.J. Upton.
Well, Frazier had made so many good pitches throughout the course of that at bat. Upton anticipated the final one was also going to be a strike. So Buck visited the mound. Aaron Hill came in as well. Concerned about Jennings at second, making sure he doesn't get too big a lead. Jason Bartlett, the shortstop. Fouls off the first pitch.
Jays pitchers, I think, do a good job of holding base runners. There's really not a whole lot you can do when you're facing talented teams that can run like Tampa or the Angels or some of those other teams, but you can do a good job of keeping it close. Very wary of the possibility that he might take off and try and steal third. So you give him a couple looks, hold the ball a little bit longer at times, quick pitch him.
Well, probably the biggest thing to counteract the running game is to throw strikes. You eliminate the number of pitches a base stealer will have to see what kind of release times you have, what kind of moves you have.
You'd like to go early in the count to give that hitter as many strikes as possible to try and get you in.
Ball and a strike. There goes Jennings. Bartlett fouls it off. You talk about first step quickness.
He was in full stride in about a step and a half. He walks into it, and there he goes.
Well, he looked like Carl Crawford in that first step. A distinctive forward lean, and he got a great jump. A ball and 2 strikes, 1 out. Bounced, and Jennings will go to third. Again, the speed, an asset for Tampa Bay.
You know, it puts pressure on everybody, the pitcher, the catcher, the infielders. You almost have to be perfect. This ball doesn't go very far, just off the dirt. But the heads-up base running and the quickness, no chance for John Buck to get that runner.
The anticipation is what allows you to move up on those short pass balls and wild pitches. 2 wild pitches this afternoon and a pass ball. And now the infield has to come in. Jennings represents the go-ahead run at third.
Even with his great speed, I'd be surprised if they play contact. With the infield in, that's a huge run over there for Tampa. You don't want to run into an out.
Got it. Frazier makes a great pitch, gets the strikeout of Bartlett. 2 outs. Paul Crawford. Put no pine tar on the bat handle. Starts to loosen up. He has been down underneath the dugout, taking some swings. In the half inning, he has been announced into the game. Cito Gaston has Scott Downs ready down in the bullpen. Big chess game going on here between Joe Madden and Cito Gaston.
That's what the great thing about September baseball. You've got lots of extra bodies. You've got lots of extra options. A little meeting on the mound to buy a little bit more time for Cito Gaston to make sure that Scott Downs is loose and ready, and he's been summoned into this ball game.
Managers pushing all the buttons here this afternoon. Cito Gaston has called for Scott Downs. Jason Frazier gets a big strikeout. A 3-3 game. Downs on to face Carl Crawford. gave up the base hit to Desmond Jennings. Jason Frazier came on and got a ground ball out and struck out Jason Barton. So there are 2 outs and a man at third for Scott Downs.
And as soon as Carl Crawford, the left-handed hitter, was announced into the ballgame, Cito Gasser went to his setup man, his lefty specialist. Scott Downs comes in. 60 games now for Downs. He leads the club with 22 holes, which ranks him 4th in the American League. He has had a history with Carl Crawford also.
Crawford is 8 for 19 against Scott Downs, hitting .305 on the season. Breaking ball fouled off. 0-2. Evan Longoria, the cleanup hitter, on deck. Crawford hitting for Sean Rodriguez. Popped him up. Over the mound. Nobody's going to get it. Here comes Bautista, and Downs makes the play. Miscommunication. Everybody was deep, but Scott Downs hung in there and makes the catch to end the scoring threat. To 7th, Desmond Jennings, the hitter, was at third base with 2 outs. Carl Crawford pops it up.
Right in the middle of the diamond. You see Bautista's got to come a long way. Scott Downs originally called one of the infielders to come and get it because it wasn't hit that high. He ends up taking that play all by himself to get out of a very tough spot.
Ben Zobrist comes in from right field to take over defensively for second base. Carl Crawford pinch hit for Sean Rodriguez, who was at second base. Crawford takes over in left, and Desmond Jennings, who started in left field, flips over to right.
That's the beauty of that team, how they can have that versatility and move everybody around the diamond.
Pat Balfour struck out John Buck to end the 6th. Ball on the strike. Well, Tampa Bay, you mentioned it, they require everybody to be an athlete, and you have to be versatile. So a lot of teams that would send a pinch hitter up there would have to use a defensive player to fill in that defensive void. Not Tampa Bay. Snyder pops out to the shortstop, Bartlett. 1 out.
You could win an all-new Honda CRZ and other great prizes when you vote for the Honda Play of the Month. Vote today at BlueJays.com.
Top of the order, Wayne Wise takes a strike.
Balfour's got some good finish on his pitches now. Again, he missed 32 games with that injury, and right now he's looking like the pitcher that we saw before he was hurt.
Takes a few outings to get your rhythm down, to get your command.
And a guy who throws hard like Balfour takes a few innings and outings to regain that arm strength also when you miss some time. That one up to 94 miles an hour.
You lose your conditioning, you lose your legs, you lose your stamina, and velocity drops. Good fastball, catches wise, down and away. Second strikeout for Balfour.
Easier for pitchers to come back from injury that don't throw hard, but when you throw as hard as Balfour does, that's the last thing to come, the command. And he's starting to finish his pitches. That was a perfect strikeout pitch right there.
2 outs, bottom of the 7th. Blue Jays have just 2 hits. Jose Bautista had a double to start the 4th. Lyle Overbay a single in the 4th. Fly ball center field. Upton backing up is there to make the catch. A 1-2-3 7th inning. Matthew Balfour has retired all 4 batters he's faced. Comfortable. Ball game. The 8th inning. Another very good ball game Friday night was a similar game. Went tied into the 9th. Tampa Bay scored an unearned run in the top of the 9th to win it.
Without the aid of a hit. A couple of infield singles in a wild pitch allowed them to tie this game up.
Evan Longoria, the perfect day at the plate, a walk, a double, and a single. Scott Downs got Carl Crawford to end the 7th. Second base, Hill from his knees, steps up and fires a strike to retire Longoria.
That's why it makes it tough to defend Longoria. You can hit the ball all over the park. As a second baseman, you can see where Hill is playing up the middle, shading him up the middle, but he has that ability to go the other way. Aaron Hill with a nice stab at that ball, catches it, and then makes the play to get the first out. Nice play by Hill.
Rocco Baldelli, the DH here this afternoon. Baldelli is 0 for 3. Popped up twice and struck out. Big fastball down and away, 0-2. One out. Ben Zobrist standing on deck. He has again had another good day, a pair of doubles. He's driven in a run. Two and two. Full count.
Baldelli has some power. When he first came up as a player, I thought he was going to be a 5-tool player, but he's had some injury problems. Hasn't been here long this year since coming up from minor leagues, but he already has a home run. Big one just last week.
Chased that low fastball and fouls it off. Baldelli is playing in his 5th game since rejoining Tampa Bay. Looked like Baldelli and Crawford would be linked at the hip for many years with the Rays, and then Baldelli had the illness a couple of years ago that knocked him out for a whole summer. Bounced up the middle. Escobar near the bag at second. Goes out Baldelli.
He's also had knee problems, Tommy John surgery on his throwing arm. He could run when he first came up. Got some great size, and it looked like he was going to be a 25 home run man. Right now, it's just good to see him back in the big leagues.
2 outs, 8th inning. 3-3 tie. Zobrist 2 for 2 with a pair of doubles today. He is 5 for 8 in the series.
Got that average up to 252 with good production, 69 RBIs. Got off to a very rough start this year.
Ball on the strike. All you need for a championship caliber team, as you look at the numbers for Zobrist during the series, is for a guy like Zobrist to get hot in September. Carry you right into the playoffs with a hot bat.
He's hot. Had a great series in Boston, where the Rays just came from. This whole road trip that he's been on, he's had a couple of doubles, 3 home runs and 9 RBIs to go along with 5 walks. So he's done a great job offensively.
Pops this ball into right. Wise is there, shades his eyes, makes the catch. Scott Downs has been perfect. He's retired all 4 he's faced. Blue Jays will bat in this 3-3 game. Bottom of the 8th. Bautista facing Joaquin Benoit. Hits a 2-run home run in the 7th to tie the game at 8-all. Blue Jays fell behind early. That was the second home run Bautista hit on Friday. Bautista reminding himself of Benoit, who has just been summoned into the ball game by Joe Maddon.
Well, the number one thing that Benoit possesses is a very good fastball. He can run it up there in the high 90s. He's taken advantage of that with a 144 opponent's batting average against. He has had a great year for the Tampa Bay Rays. They signed him back in February. And he came to spring training. He was originally found by Omar Minaya, who was working with the Rangers organization. They signed him as a young kid for Texas. Minaya also signed Sammy Sosa for the Texas Rangers. Looked like he was going to have a good career as a starter, but they moved him to the bullpen. He's been dynamite.
Bautista got his pitch and pops it up. Longoria near the mound makes the catch. That's the one Bautista was looking for. First pitch fastball.
You'll get a fastball from Joaquin Benoit. He will challenge you with that good heater. Watch this one. This is right where Bautista likes it. He got under it. He knows he missed it. See him shaking his head there as he heads back to the dugout.
One out. Vernon Wells. Outside. Ripped into left field over Jason Bartlett. A frozen rope by Wells.
That's turning around a 96-mile-an-hour heater right there. He's going to supply the pop for you. You just make sure you get the head of the bat out. And that's what Wells does. As he gets it over Bartlett's head on a couple of hops to Crawford. Just the third hit of the afternoon for the Blue Jays.
Lyle Overbay 0 for 6 against Benoit. One out. Turns at the first pitch, and that ball will slice into the seats. Benoit does a good job of unloading the ball quickly to the plate. He's only had one steal attempt against him, and oftentimes when he's in a game, it's a tie game or a one-run game where a steal would be advantageous, but he does a good job.
Power pitchers who come out of the bullpen generally don't have slide steps, and he certainly is a power pitcher.
Oh, and 2, Kevin Gregg cranking it up. Be the bottom third of the Rays lineup in the top of the 9th. Just off the outside corner. But we mentioned the top of the 9th. Don't forget, Joe Maddon has Carlos Pena on the bench. He had Crawford on the bench till he used him as a pinch hitter in the 7th. A ball and 2 strikes. Two and 2. This is the back end of the bullpen. It has been so consistent for Joe Maddon. Choate started it now for Benoit, and if they get a lead, Soriano.
Well, they don't walk anybody. That's the key, I think, for that bullpen, especially late in the game.
Good eye, just off the plate, full count.
No free passes. Benoit wanting to know where that one was. There were a couple of pitches on the outside part of the play. That time he surprised him by going back inside. But they've got the best strikeout to walk ratio in the American League. The bullpen of the Rays.
Full count, 1 out. There goes Wells. Swing and a miss. Throw to second base. In time. A strike him out, throw him out to end the 8th inning. Overbay goes down. Navarro throws a strike. We'll go to the 9th, tied at 3. Strikes out, perfect throw.
They still haven't gotten a stolen base against Joaquin Benoit. Quick to the plate, even though he's a power pitcher. They got to strike him out, throw him out. We head to the 9th inning. Tie game. Kevin Gray into the game. 31 for 36 in save opportunities. 1-5 with a very good ERA of just over 3. Greg was on the mound the other night when the Tampa Bay Rays scored an unearned run to end up winning that ball game. Same situation here, 9th inning of a tie game.
Kelly Sharpick batting for Dioner Navarro. Kind of a curious choice. You've got Jaso on the bench. You've got Joyce on the bench. Brignac, Pena, left-handed hitters, and Navarro's a switch hitter.
Yeah, it's not like he's got a lot of history against Kevin Gregg, does Kelly Sharpick. He's only faced him one time. Navarro 2 for 3 against Kevin Gregg.
You know, there's a reason behind it.
Yeah.
Just not sure what it is.
We don't know what it is.
Brad Hopp, the DH, is on deck. Excuse me, Hopp's at first today. Sharpick waves at that breaking ball. Pulls it deep at short. Escobar, long throw, plenty of time. Gets shot.
I like how he took his time knowing who the runner was. Anytime your shortstop has to go in the hole, you know it's going to be a bang-bang play. But he catches it, gathers himself, and still has plenty of time to throw a strike over to first base. No panic. There's a glove tap and then a strike to get the first out.
Brad Hopp to face Kevin Gregg. Off the plate. Hopp's faced Gregg a lot. They were both in the National League together, but he's still looking for his first hit. 0 for 6 against Gregg. Ball on the strike, 1 out in the 9th. Hop's 0 for 3 with strikeouts.
Probably happy he doesn't have to face Sean Markham. Markham pitched him tough today. Struck him out a couple of times with changeups. Also got him way out in front on a ground out. A little bit more familiar with Kevin Gregg.
3-1. Well, Hop's got a lot of moving parts to his batting stance. He's walking on eggs, moving around a lot in the box.
I don't remember him doing that as much when he was with Colorado, when he was having those big years for him. But he will work the walk against Gregg.
That led to the undoing on Friday night. A couple of walks in the 9th inning after 1 out. Gregg retired Carl Crawford, and then Longoria walked, Pena walked. And then on an error by the shortstop. An unearned run was the decisive run of the game. Desmond Jennings. Got a base hit in his last at bat. Again, Joe Madden makes sure that if you're on this team, you feel like you're a big part of it, giving his rookie a chance to bat in this pivotal situation in the 9th.
You know, that is so important because you make you feel like you're part of the team, but I think it'll pay dividends down the road. It's going to be a big part of what this team is going to do in the future. And his manager showing him great confidence here in a tough situation.
Plus, Madden is very confident that Jennings has been well prepared for this opportunity in the month of September. Well, he takes some good at-bats. He watches the ball, doesn't swing wildly. I think your comparison to Matt Kemp's a very valid one.
Think 5 years from now, after he has played 5 years in the big leagues, and he knows the league, he's filled out just a little bit more, he understands himself a little bit more. How dynamic of a player is he going to be?
A ball and 2 strikes. Breaking ball he lays off. We have seen this from day one when we watched Desmond Jennings play his first game in Tampa Bay. Got a pretty good eye at the plate.
A career .299 hitter in the minor leagues with some pop.
2-2. Lays off the breaking ball. He doesn't chase. Full count, 1 out. There goes the base runner at first. Bounced through the vacated spot at shortstop. On his way to third is Brad Hop. They started the runner, shortstop coverage, and Jennings has his second hit.
It's a thing of beauty right there, isn't it? You start the runner, make sure you make contact, get the ball on the ground, and maybe something good will happen. Hop takes off the ball right through the vacated area where Escobar was, and that's an easy first to third for Tampa.
Well, this is exactly the time when Tampa Bay will bunt. Base runner at third is Brad Hop. Good speed at first with Jennings and B.J. Upton at the plate.
If he wants to eliminate the strikeout possibility, and B.J. Upton can strike out a lot, this is where they will do that squeeze play.
Safety squeeze where you don't break when the pitcher releases. And just in case, the Blue Jays want to see if Upton will tip his hand. One out. Runners at the corners.
A lot of times managers will give that hitter one shot. They'll give him a strike and give him a chance to try and drive in the run and play for the big inning. If they fail to do that, that's when they put it on.
Upton has 17 home runs. Has the count in his favor, 2-0. Simple, quick sign from Madden.
think big inning now. Now that you're up with the 2-0 count, you're not thinking about one.
Driven into left field. Not that deep. Travis Snyder setting up. Hop tagging at third. Throw to the plate. On line but late. Tampa Bay has taken the lead in the ninth.
And Jennings tags up at first base and gets himself into scoring position. B.J. Upton with a tough at bat against Kevin Gregg. Upton had only faced him 3 times, but he got himself into a fastball count and took advantage of it. No chance to get Hop. He tags. Here comes the throw from Snyder. It's on line, and it's a good throw. But the ball was too deep, and a heads-up play at first base to get into second base is Jennings.
Manufactured run, a 1-out walk, a runner moving on a 3-2 pitch, a ground ball base hit the left, and a sac fly.
That's the kind of baseball that you win with in October, because you are facing teams number 1s and number 2s and good teams that are stacked with a good bullpen.
Bouncing ball to short. Just in time to get Bartlett, and the inning is over. But the Rays score a run. They take a lead in the ninth. They lead it 4-3. Rafael Soriano on for the save. Burger King, home of the Whopper.
The Rays can beat you in so many ways. After a 1-out walk, they elect to start the runner, and it works out nicely as Jennings pokes one through the infield. Hop's going to go all the way to third base where he will score on a sacrifice fly. The Rays can manufacture runs with the best of them.
And they have taken a 1-run lead, and they've gone to their bullpen for the big closer, Rafael Soriano. Soriano picked up the save, number 42 here on Friday night.
He has had a nice run for the Tampa Bay Rays. 42 saves, which matches Brian Wilson from San Francisco for the most in the major league. Second behind Roberto Hernandez, had 43 in 1999 for the team record.
Aaron Hill pulls it foul into the seats. The Yankees and Texas are scoreless in the fourth inning. Yankees have yet to get a hit off Cliff Lee. Breaking ball into left field, base hit. Soriano left the breaking ball out over the plate, and Hill jumped on it and drives it into left.
He got Aaron Hill the other night with a breaking ball, and he went right back to it. This one isn't as sharp or crisp as the one that he threw to him the other day. right over the plate, and Eric Hill yanks it into left field for a good start here at the bottom of the ninth.
Soriano now would deal with Adam Lind. Lind is 0 for 2 against Soriano. Pair of walks today, line to left field his first time up. Tying runs aboard, bottom of the ninth. Popped out of play.
19 straight saves Soriano has put together. That ties a club record also for consecutive saves. That was set back in 1999. He converted his first 16 saves when he came over to Tampa Bay, which ties a club record to begin a season.
0-2.
And he's got two pitches that he can get you out with. He's got a great arm, good fastball, and a good breaking ball that he'll get a lot of strikeouts with.
Soriano's ahead 0-2. Hit hard to right field. This has got a chance. Home run! Adam Lind has just walked off the Rays. A 2-run shot.
How quick was Adam Lind on that fastball in the inner half? I mean, he pulled his hands in and got the barrel of the bat to the ball so quickly. And when you do that, the ball just explodes off your bat. They tried to throw a fastball up and in, and he just came right through and on a line over the 328 sign in right field. The Blue Jays have a walk-off home run and a walk-off victory.
22nd home run of the season. A line drive over the wall in right field. The Blue Jays win the final game of the series to salvage one of the 3 games. Adam Lind comes through against the toughest closer in the American League.
That'll stop that consecutive streak of 19 in a row as Lind delivers again with a clutch home run.
Blue Jays win it 5-4. Kevin Gregg's the winner. Lind with the game winner. They win one of the 3 games. They'll go on the road. We will go to Baltimore after the game. We will see you from Baltimore tomorrow night.